Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing well today. Just as a note, this video is for Thursday, September 3rd. And if you have not already, please be sure to order your textbooks. I have placed the reading for the second week for the second discussion board. So I do have the readings for week 1 and 2, but I do expect all of my students to have their textbooks in by the third week of class. So if you have not already, please be sure to order your textbooks. And if you have not already, if you're having some problems with your textbook order or the shipping is delayed, I would suggest contacting the JCC bookstore if you ordered through them, or whatever third-party seller that you might have bought the book through. Maybe you bought the textbook through Chegg or through Amazon or some other used textbook seller. I would get a hold of them and make sure the textbook is set to arrive by the third week of class. By now, the information for the textbook has been posted for, by week 3, the textbook information has technically been posted for about 4 weeks, so I do expect everyone to somehow get a hold of the copy of the textbook, because we will be using the textbook for discussion boards, which is a part of this online course, so I do expect all of my students to hopefully have those in very soon. So today what we're going to be working on, it's Thursday, September 3rd, we're going to be talking a little bit about the history of the essay, and we're going to do some Essay 1 invention work or work on drafting. Please note that the second week's worth of reading, chapter 29 and 30, should be done by next Tuesday at noon, and the reading response or discussion board number 2 will be due by that time at noon. And you should continue drafting and also doing the Essay 1 invention work. So just to sort of remind everyone very quickly, the discussion boards can be found here, and the reading response 2 can be found right here. And then all you do is click create a thread, and you can enter the name of your thread and also post, and once that is done, all you do is hit submit. So like I said, I do have the first and second week's worth of reading on here. Here is the week 1 reading. If you have not done the first discussion board, please be sure to catch up. And here is the week 2 reading. Please be warned that this week 2 reading folder on Blackboard is a little bit image heavy. May take a few moments for it to load depending on your internet connection, but it does work, and I do have screenshots of the chapter 29 and 30 reading. So it will at least allow you to look at the reading and get the second discussion board done. And keep in mind that the discussion boards are also part of homework or participation. And I do read those on a weekly basis. So if you have not already, please be sure to catch up on reading response number 1 and the diagnostic essay and the reading response number 2. And I have quite a bit posted here. What I went through during the last video was the day 3 lesson, the rhetoric and the 3 appeals. And I also went through the DCA paper number 1 introduction. So you should be working on drafting the first paper and also taking a look at my videos if you have not already and these lessons. So what I'm going to be doing is just a small part of lesson 4 today, which is history of the essay. So in this particular lesson, I'm going to be talking about the essay, its history, currents, uses, and forms, and the essay number 1, invention. So last time in my last video for Tuesday, I talked about the 3 rhetorical appeals and why the rhetorical situation is so important when it comes to writing, especially academic writing and essays. And then in this particular lesson, I'll be talking about what is the historical significance of the essay. So what are essays and what uses do they have? So the modern history of the essay. According to Michael de Montaigne back in 16th century France, trying to pinpoint a certain point of view in a piece of writing can be very difficult if you try it from a neutral perspective. So in this quote, he says, "The world is but a perennial seesaw, everything in it, the land, the mountains, the pyramids of Egypt, all waver with a common motion and their own. Constancy itself is nothing more but a more languid rocking to and fro. I am unable to stabilize my subject. It staggers confusedly along with a natural drunkenness. I grasp at it now at this moment when I am lingering over it. I am not portraying being but becoming. Not the passage from one age but to another, or as the folk put it, from one 7-year period to the next, but from day to day, minute to minute." And this was actually the historical sort of origination of the essay. Writers back then were trying to grasp their subjects through writing in a more neutral manner. So, dating all the way back to ancient Greece, the study of rhetoric emerged from the philosopher named Aristotle because he wished to find a way to grasp the study of writing and also as a way to persuade people. So of course you should be thinking about purpose and audience. The mark of an intelligent mind is to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. So of course purpose is why a piece of writing is written. And of course the audience is who the piece of writing is addressed to. So audience with authority might be examples of teachers, editors, supervisors, and employers. And of course, you can have an audience of peers, audience of allies, and of course, private writing, and also reflective writing, which is also a huge part of this course. So the rhetorical modes of appeal were brought about by Aristotle because he wanted to have a way to be able to analyze the piece of writing. So how can I be as effective as possible at changing how my audience thinks, feels, or acts? And of course, the rhetorical triangle, ethos, pathos, and logos, were born. And I talked quite a bit about pathos, ethos, and logos in my last video, so if you need to go back and rewatch it, please feel free to do so. So here is the invention for the discourse community analysis. Invention for the rough draft, which you should be working on now. So let's take a moment to consider the discourse communities you've brainstormed about so far. You've already considered the following, and if you haven't already, you may wish to think through these questions about your particular discourse community. So in terms of ethos, who are the experts? What makes them experts? Are you an expert? How? And logos, what terms are often used when discussing your discourse community? What discourse is available that only insiders would know? What traditions, values, or norms are present in your community? What do your members hold dear? How do you know? And then from there, I would suggest drafting your narrative, that is, tell a story about how you came to know about these things. Then what claim you might make about your membership in one discourse community based on what you wrote and new ideas you have generated through this writing exercise. Now, thinking about that, I'm going to go back into the paper guidelines tab here. And keep in mind that the guidelines also talk about how you should be drafting ethos, logos, and pathos within your rough draft of the first paper, how to construct your claim, your subpoints, your evidence, what sort of style and tone you should be using, and also the arrangement and how long the paper should be. So for the first part of the invention, I would start with the introduction and your thesis and claim, and kind of think about the rhetorical appeals too. So how will you be talking about logos, ethos, and pathos? And you can also take a look at the rubric and sample essay. But keep in mind, thinking about logos, ethos, and pathos within this first paper can be found within this lessonette that I went over last video for the DCA Paper 1 Introduction. And this 6th slide here. So if you need to go back and rewatch that video, please feel free. And this is also part of the invention to be thinking about is your claim thesis statement. So your audience for this paper, your classmates and I will want to know the main point of your paper right off the bat. So you should be constructing a claim for this paper, and if you need a revisitation of how to construct a claim, you can refer to the Norton Field Guide to Writing and the pages 169 through 182. And if you also need a sort of reminder of what a narrative is, you can also look at chapter 10 of the textbook, or the chapter on genre. So you should begin drafting an introduction and thesis statement. And if you need help from me, you are free to stop in during my office hours tomorrow. Or send me an email, of course, at any time. You're welcome to send me an email anytime. But keep in mind, my office hours are on Fridays from 3 to 5 p.m. And if you would like to secure a slot or schedule an appointment during office hours, please feel free to email me, and I will make sure that you have a scheduled slot during my office hours. So I think I have about maybe 7 appointments available from 3 to 5 tomorrow. Nobody has booked anything, but you can of course just kind of wander into, like, that's fine. But if you need help and you want to schedule, like, if you need a 15 or 30-minute appointment, please just give me a heads up. And here is the Zoom meeting link that will be used and the passcode. And of course, it will automatically launch that Zoom meeting for you. And of course, you can also drop me an email. You can always find my email on the syllabus. And that's my email right there on the syllabus. So like I said, my office hours will be tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. Tomorrow's Friday. And if you would like an appointment otherwise at another time, please just give me maybe send me an email and we'll see what we can work out. Also, as another note, if you need further help from the Learning Center, they are also helping students with papers. And you can even schedule an appointment for online tutoring. if you need further help with the paper. And that can also be found on the syllabus under the Learning Center. You can make a tutoring appointment in Starfish now by following the directions if you click on that link or by calling one of the learning centers. The learning centers are open from Mondays through Thursdays from 9 to 5 p.m. and the Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And you can also, if you have further questions about tutoring, you can email Beth Lacey or Janelle Gray and they will be happy to help you, or you can make an appointment through Starfish. And keep in mind, they do a lot of online tutoring. You can get even a tutoring session done on the phone, through email, through Zoom, or whatever might work for you. They might be offering limited tutoring sessions in person, but the best way probably would be to email them and see what sort of availability they might have. Anyway, that is all for today. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And again, if you want to stop in during my office hours tomorrow, feel free to do so. Office hours are tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great day.